Welcome to the next session of science. All of you fine? Very good. But here children, one child is there, he is not fine. You know why? Because his stomach is paining. Then I asked, what happened to you? What you had in the morning? Then he said that I had 1 glass of milk and some biscuits in the morning. Then I asked that, have you chewed that properly? He said, no teacher, my school bus has come and I have to rush in a hurry. So, I cannot chew that properly. See children, anything, any food we are eating and if we are not chewing that properly, it will lead us to indigestion. Yes. So, how full digestion process will take place? I think all of you are wondering, right? So, let us study in this chapter number 2 that how full digestion process will take place. So, first thing is that digestion. What is digestion? So, the process of breaking down food into smaller pieces, it's called digestion. Suppose for example, this is a biscuit, right? We cannot have directly, we cannot swallow that. What we have to do for that? First of all, we have to take a bite of that. And then we are making smaller pieces out of that in our mouth and then only we can swallow. Here you can see in this that first of all the food will enter into the mouth, it was bite and after that it is, see the very smaller particles you can see, like this will happen, full digestion process start from mouth and on anus. Now the next thing is that we are talking about digestion, but why digestion is necessary? Suppose you had today chapati, out of that which nutrients you are getting children? Yes, correct, carbohydrates. Out of rice, again carbohydrates. Suppose you had green gram for the breakfast, what you had out of that? Protein, correct. So, all these nutrients our body will get at the end of the process of digestion. If digestion will not take properly, if digestion will not happen properly in our body, then this will lead to indigestion and whatever the nutrients are there in the food that we cannot have properly. So, digestion is very much necessary for our body. Along with that, whatever the food we had, at the end of the digestion process, some waste material are there that are produced in our body. That should comes out of our body very properly. So, that is why digestion process is very much necessary for our body. Next thing. Now, how this digestion take place? First of all, this process will start in the mouth. Why? Because any kind of a food, first we put into the mouth, right? So, here first of all, teeth will take place. What teeth will do? Teeth will bite the food, chew the food. And after that biting and chewing, what will happen? That there are some glands that are called salivary glands that produce a kind of a liquid that called saliva. Yes, and that saliva will mix with the food particle and make a kind of a paste. And after that only we are able to swallow. Suppose this is a biscuit, right? We cannot swallow directly. For that we have to chew the food and after that it should make a kind of a paste and then only we can have that. We can swallow that. So, here this will happen inside the mouth. This digestion process will happen in the mouth. See children, remember the digestion process start in the mouth itself. Yes. Next thing is food pipe. That you can see that. Yes, this is a food pipe. After the mouth, through the throat, food will reach to the food pipe. Now, another name of food pipe is esophagus. Can you see this? Yes. This is how from mouth the food will reach to the food pipe. The next thing is that food inside the stomach. Here in the stomach what will happen? There are some muscles that are called stomach muscles that will churn the food very nicely. And after that churning, some digestive juices are there that will mixed in the stomach. Here even more digestion process will take place. But here in the stomach itself, food stays for 2 to 3 hours. Yes, for 2 to 3 hours it will stay. So, suppose you had your breakfast early morning 8 o'clock, right? And you had green gram in the breakfast. So, after that don't eat anything till 12 around. So, there should be a gap between 2 meals. After that you should go for lunch directly if you had a very heavy breakfast. If you keep on eating after around like 9:30, You are eating some biscuits or either some any kind of another food items. Then what will happen? It will leads you to indigestion, because here in the stomach itself food is still there in the stomach, not gone down. So this is how the food the journey inside the stomach will happen. The next thing is that food inside the small intestine. What will happen in the small intestine? Here you can see, after the stomach, food reach to the small intestine here. Here some digestive juices and it's broken down food further. Before going to the small intestine, digestive juices from liver, from gallbladder and from pancreas. There are 3 organs are there that will produce different kind of digestive juices. That will mixed with that, and even it will help for the further digestion process. So these are the things is happening inside the small intestine. After that, here one more thing is also happening in the small intestine. There are some small projections are called villi. Yes, inside that whatever the food we had, like you had rice for the lunch, out of that what you are getting? Yes, carbohydrate. Like you had banana, what you are getting out of that? Yes, potassium. So that whatever the nutrients are there out of that food, that here will be absorbed in the small intestine. Yes, all the nutrients are there that will be absorbed in the small intestine. And the leftover food is there that will reach to the large intestine. Here you can see this is the large intestine. Here 2 things will happen. Excess water, whatever the excess water is there in the body, that will be absorbed by the large intestine, and waste material is there that are stored in the rectum. This is rectum, you can see here. Now, whatever the waste material is there, that will be thrown out of the body through the anus. This is last portion, it's called anus as feces. Though this is how the full digestion process will take place in our body. It starts from mouth, after that salivary glands generate the liquid saliva, then it will reach to the food pipe, after that it will goes to the stomach, here food will stay for 2 to 3 hours, and then finally it will go to small intestine. In small intestine, different digestive juices are mixed from liver, gallbladder and pancreas, and finally food will reach to the large intestine. Here the excess water is there that will be absorbed by the large intestine, and finally the food will reach to the rectum, and waste materials are there that are stored in the rectum, and it comes out as feces from anus. So this is how the full digestion process will take place. So here children, we have studied about the full digestion process. So now we will meet in our next session of science. So till then, what you have to do? You have to study this very properly. Okay, see you in the next lecture.